well, that's it for the charts. Okay. But I do want to have a brief discussion on, I think that lighting is better too. I was looking really, the lighting was not good earlier. I don't know what I was saying. The obstacle is the way. Okay. That is our current book of the month for March of 2022. I have my copy right here. Okay. Very small book. I just have my pen sitting right here because this is what I was reading one of the chapters a little bit earlier. Okay. But it's a very thin book. Right? It doesn't take very long to read, especially if you've never read a book before, which was me a couple years ago. Okay. This is a good starter book, in my opinion. And that's why we did that, because we're actually coming off of Atomic Habits by James Clear, which of course I do have. And that's a little bit thicker book. You know what I mean? It's taller. I think it's got more pages. You know what I mean? Like, you can see obviously the difference in the two books. So I wanted to do that for you guys that thought maybe like, oh, this was a lot. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I need something easier. Oh, here you go. Obstacle is the way. Okay. Now, I'm not going to talk your ear off all day or all night for some of us, but I do want to have a brief discussion. Okay. And I want you to read it. Okay. Don't expect me to go over the whole book, because I'm not going to do it. I would rob you of learning, and plus I don't want to get flagged for, giving away all his secrets. Okay. I want to be respectful of, Ryan Holiday and his work. So anyways, so on page 27, there is a chapter called Control Your Emotions. And I think that's very appropriate for traders, for myself, and for you guys, right? To control your emotions. So he actually talks about a story, or not a story rather, but he talks about an individual who went to space. Okay. And the training that they did before going to space, that obviously they have, all the astronaut type of training that they do, as far as like technical skills, mechanical skills, what buttons to press and this and that and the third. But the more important skill that they went over before going to space was actually the skill of not panicking, right? The skill of not panicking. So, and obviously the reason for that is because when you're in space, you can't make a mistake, right? And in the book, obviously it says, if you press the wrong button or you get the wrong measurements, it could be life or death. So now, luckily as traders, we may not necessarily experience potentially experience life or death situations. I would hope not on the charts. If you do, you may need to go talk to someone, because that's abnormal, right? But the skill of not panicking was their most important skill. Okay. So with that, right, how do you learn to not panic in certain situations? Well, and again, this is in the book, it's the idea of defeating emotions with logic. And the logic is questions and statements. Okay. So I'll give you another real world example of what we did in the Navy. Okay. So check this out. On a boat, in the middle of the ocean, we can't call the fire department to say, hey, can you guys come out here and take care of a fire? We can't do that. We have to be the ones to take care of that situation. And trust me, it actually happens quite a bit. All right. So when a fire breaks out on the ship, the whole ship knows about it, right? Someone goes over the 1MC and, they fire in space, or, Alpha, whatever. I don't know all the verbiage. Class Alpha, Class Charlie fire in space, A, TAC, B, whatever, to tell you where it's at on the ship. Right. And that tells you which locker has the responsibility to go take care of that fire. So thank God it was never mine. But if it was, for example, if it was in a space that I needed to take care of, well, what we would do in that situation, obviously, is not panic, but we had procedures, right? That's the whole point of what I'm trying to get at. We had procedures. I had to go down somewhere to say, hey, I'm here, here I am. All right. We had to put on a suit, firefighter gear, right? This big, heavy, musty fire resistant equipment, these big, ugly boots, right? And then we had to march down and, unhose some things and put the fire out potentially. Or if it was obviously a different fire, fire hydrant or whatever the case, right? But the whole point is that we had a specific procedure, right? It's not like, if you've ever watched SpongeBob, great show, just so you know, okay? I literally grew up watching SpongeBob. There's a scene, I forget which scene it was, but I think it was SpongeBob, and he had like a bad memory, or he was trying to remember something. And the scene was SpongeBob's brain, okay? And there was a bunch of SpongeBob's in like an office, and they were just running around going nuts, and it was on fire, and it was crazy, right? Because SpongeBob was panicking, right? And so we do that sometimes in our trading when we're a beginner trader or an intermediate trader, but the professional does not panic, right? The professional has procedures in place, scenarios, whatever scenario may occur. Okay, so check this out. On page 139, there is a chapter called Anticipation, parentheses, Thinking Negatively. Okay, and in short, there's a word, Premortem, which is basically a statement that you reflect on what could go wrong, right? I'm going to launch a business. What could go wrong? I'm going to tell my angry girlfriend to calm down. What could go wrong? You know what I mean? Don't do that. You're just going to make it worse. You know what I mean? But anyways, in trading, we need to ask ourselves, what could go wrong? Okay? Well, there's a few things. I'm not going to name them all, but what could go wrong? We could lose a trade. We could over trade. We could over leverage. We could revenge trade. There's a lot of different scenarios that could go wrong in the market or in your trading, right? And so to negate these things that may go wrong or that may happen, we need to have procedures in place to negate those things. So like, for example, a question that you could ask yourself, what could go wrong? Well, what happens if I lose a trade? What happens if I lose a trade? Okay, so for example, you could walk away. All right, if I took a loss, I'm going to walk away, or I'm going to log out of my MT4. I'm going to log out of my trading view. I'm going to log out of my broker and just go do something else. Okay? Or what happens if I lose a trade? Well, based on your trade plan, it could be, well, I'm going to wait to find another opportunity. Maybe I took a loss or a break even, but maybe I switched my bias and I found a new opportunity, or maybe an opportunity in another market. Maybe I can take that trade, right? Whatever is in your trade plan. Another question that you could go over, what could go wrong? Well, what happens if the market doesn't go my way? You were expecting it to go higher, but doesn't really do anything. Maybe it dances around your entry. Well, what do I do? Do I close it? Do I hold it? Do I, hit Jon on Instagram and ask him about this particular trade, right? Don't do that. But your trade plan, right? What does it say? It could be to close your position early. It could be to move your stop to decrease risk. I personally like doing that. It could be close half your position, maybe take half off, keep half on. Could be that. It could just be collapse the trade at whatever it is, break even, loss, small loss, whatever, and just walk away, right? The whole point of me telling you this, right, is that every scenario requires some type of precaution, or action to take. You shouldn't find yourself in a situation where you don't know what to do. That should never be a outcome, or that should never happen in trading. Well, I'm long this or I'm short that, but now I don't know what to do. That's not good. That's not good at all. That's not where you want to be. Okay. And I started to write more questions, and then I realized I had to make the bed and put a shirt on and all these things. So I didn't get to more questions, and plus we're almost 20 minutes over the session anyway. But the last one is, what happens if I have to go do something else? Right? Oh, I gotta go into work. I gotta go out to dinner with my in-laws. Ugh, right? I gotta do these things. Well, what does protocol say? Do you put your stop and break even and walk away? Do you put on a trailing stop? Do you just collapse the trade altogether? Like, for that specific scenario, you need to have a plan for. And the thing is, guys, we can talk about all these scenarios, and I know what I would do, but what I may do may not be what you would want to do. And this is what makes trading so incredible, is that you guys have the option to choose, right? You have the option to choose what you want to do in any given situation. And the last thing I'll leave you with is this. If you have a lot of anxiety, a lot of nervousness, right? Where you seem to be, maybe you're in a trade and you just can't think. You don't know what to do. Oh, I have a trade plan, but I don't know what it says. My trade plan's in the other room. I don't know. Maybe I told everyone I have a trade plan, but I really don't. You know what I mean? Like, and you just are lost, right? And the market's doing things, and I don't know if I'm bullish. I don't know if I'm bearish. Like, I don't really know. Well, what you can do is focus on the things that you can control, and don't worry about the things that you cannot control, right? Think about the, man, I'm going to chop this up. It's, I think it's the serenity prayer, right? Actually, you know what, guys, give me a sec. I want to look that up real quick, because I don't want to say the wrong thing. Let's see here. Okay. So yeah, so it goes, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Right? So to accept the things that you cannot change. Okay, I cannot change the market. You cannot change the market. Right? Courage to change the things that I can if you need to. Right? So what can you trade? Or excuse me, what can you control in your trading? What can you change in your trading? Well, your lot size. You get to choose your lot size. You get to choose your take profit. You get to choose your stop loss. And all of those things are somewhat controllable for the most part. You get to choose, how much am I willing to lose? How much do I plan on making if price goes my direction? Now, I say for the most part, because if you incorporate slippage, yes, sometimes price can disrespect your stop loss. So I'm saying for the most part, you can generally control the amount that you either make or that you lose, right? The orders, price levels, what am I going to buy at? What am I going to sell at? All these things, those are in your particular control. So those are things that you can focus on. And if you can't focus at all or by any means, well, then you honestly probably have bigger issues. And I'm not trying to say that to be funny. There might be some psychological issues that you may have. Okay? And actually, you know what? I had someone ask me a question. I'm going to look this up as well. It's on my Instagram. I just can't remember who it was, because Lord, everyone sends me messages all day, every day, and it gets lost in the sauce. I think someone had said they had FOMO. I think it was a fear of missing out and something else. And I answered their question, but I wanted to go a little bit more. I can't fucking, sorry. I can't, I don't remember who sent it. But anyway, so FOMO, for example. So this individual, I hope the microphone didn't pick that up. This individual said that they have been experiencing FOMO, right? The fear of missing out. And I think that led to over trading. And my answer for FOMO has always been the same, is that you fear missing out, right, on the move or the move that you might think will insinuate. Okay. But in reality, if you go into your charts, if you go into your studies and you realize the incredible amount of opportunities that actually present themselves every single day, every single week, every single month, every single quarter, every year, there are an abundant, unlimited number of opportunities every single day. I don't recommend trading every single day, but there are opportunities every single day. So when you understand that, when you fully grasp, okay, and you actually understand that there are abundant number of opportunities. So if I miss Monday, if I miss Tuesday, well, we can still do something on Wednesday. We can still do something on Thursday. As a matter of fact, I shared on my Twitter on Wednesday that there will be opportunities more in the future. And that trade recording from earlier was Friday, 2 days after I posted that. Because I understand and I firmly believe that there are opportunities all the time. So if you miss one, well, big deal. Okay. Well, I don't want to say this, but I'll probably say it anyway. You know, for those of you who are single out there or have just gotten out of a relationship out there, well, guess what? There are quite a few opportunities for other relationships. Okay. And when you understand that, personally, I think you'd have an easier time getting over the person that you want to get over. You know what I'm saying? So maybe you relate, maybe you don't. I don't know. But that's what I have for you guys. Okay. So hopefully you guys have picked up this book. I started a poll and I think there was quite a few who did. Quite a few of you, or there's like 11 of you who chose that you were going to continue to be a bum, which I thought was funny. But let me know if you've purchased legally, okay, Obstacle is the Way. Let me know if you guys are reading it. I would love to see if you guys really are.